guys, how are you doing today? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. I was on stream the other day and someone mentioned that Distant has an amp sim, and that immediately got me interested. So I tried the demo, I tried fitting it in my mixes, and I was like, damn, this is really nice. And so I thought I, by chance reach out to WaveMind. Here I am. Thank you, WaveMind, for sending me the license for this demo. They did send me the license. I was not obligated to praise it. I was not obligated to say anything about it. These are still my unfiltered thoughts on the plugin, and I'm just going to be straight up. So for this video, I'm going to be showing it in the mix, and I'm going to be showing the isolated tones with no processing, very minimal processing. For that, I'm going to be turning off my master chain and my mix bus, so it's just going to be straight tone, and just show you guys how it sounds. So straight into the mix, I don't remember which preset it was just because this kind of reset. However, I believe it was the 5169 down here from WaveMind. So let's just get right into it, man. I think this sounds sick. You might be able to see over here behind my head, there is all of this up top, and that is strictly for the screeching sounds that I'm doing, so that's not really contributing to the overall sound. Pro Q4 on the DI, just because this plugin is very, very low and heavy, so it was really beneficial to pull that down a bit. And I did change the IR to a different one just because I wanted it to fit in with the bass tone a little bit better. And when I do the raw tone sounds after this, you're going to see that it's going to be all the plugin, nothing else extra, just straight plugin. So yeah, I was just really impressed with how easy it was to get it to sit decently well in the mix. Admittedly, I haven't spent too much time trying to get this to fit perfectly. However, I still think it sounds super nice. One thing I really appreciate, and I feel like is going to be very underrated, is the gate. Somehow, when I use any other amp sim, when I put on the gate and say it's like a clean tone where it turns off the cab and I constantly fight with noise when I have those presets or those tones on my guitars, and I'm not really sure why, maybe gain staging. However, this gate, it's going to be very underrated. And I'm telling you that because when I use those tones out of this plugin, there's zero noise. It's perfect. It's the perfect amount of cutting off the noise floor and preserving your signal. So both pinch harmonics, sustain notes, they're all going to be super clean, at least in my experience. There is a drop feature, and the maximum is 12, which is an octave. There is also a pre-EQ that you can do, which is very nice. A destructor, which is kind of like an octave pedal and adds some kind of distortion to the signal on top of that. And there is the overdrive, very nice overdrive pedal. It handles low tunings very, very nicely. Aside from that, we do have 3 different amp heads. So there's the Flesh Weaver, there is the Servant, and the Nail Wound. So the Flesh Weaver, that's going to be like the crazy over-the-top high-gain amp. The Servant is going to be a lower gain, more clean, more like a 5150 style amp. And the Nail Wound is going to be more like crunchy tones, more clean stuff, ambient stuff. That's what this is going to be going under. But I am partial to the Servant amp, and I'm sure that's because I'm a massive fanboy of the 5150 style-ish amps. I was really impressed with the amount that you can actually mess with on here. For the cab section, there is, again, different cabs that you can switch between, similar to Neural DSP. So that there's nothing too different about this entire section when it comes to the cab sim. However, I really appreciate this master EQ here. And if you don't know, the master EQ, it automatically takes out most of those really terrible harsh frequencies that you're just going to cut out anyway. They just kind of saved you the time, pain, and tears of just doing it for you. And I really appreciate that because different IRs have different things, and it's always kind of a pain to just figure it all out on your own sometimes. And sometimes you just want to throw it on and it sounds good. That's a really easy way to do that. Props to WaveMind. Then there is a post EQ. There is a high pass filter, low pass filter, typical EQ settings here. I will say the numbers that they choose are quite different than what I'm used to. So I personally have not touched it, though I feel like they would be more catered to this amp, so it might be a little bit more beneficial. And they have post effects, just delay and reverb. They also went through the time to put in all of these presets. There is 25 in total. I have a few very favored presets in here that I will go over in the next section of the video, but they have their own live tone, they have their lead tones, they have their absolute chaos tones, they have lead tones, ambient tones, creepy tones, they have just basic rhythm tones, lo-fi tones, you name it. So overall, I really do like the plugin. It's just kind of unwieldy in the low end sometimes with the included IRs, and I'm sure that's just because of what Distant plays. I mean, if you're watching this, you've heard Distant, they're crazy. It's just crazy. It's wild. And so it is a different approach for me, and it was difficult for me to actually fit some of that low end into my mixes. However, I feel like once you get that sweet spot between low end and high, this amp sounds phenomenal. But aside from that, I will go into the raw tones now, and I will have the preset names on the screen just so you have a more accurate point of reference to what I'm using. Again, these are going to be raw. There's no extra anything on my mix bus, nothing on my master. Switched them both off. It's going to be strictly the tone from the amp, no external IRs, straight sound. So yeah, just as a wrap up, plugin sick. Extremely grateful that WaveMind was even willing to consider me for this demo. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.